We're going to discuss this today, a fan edit of two Daniel Craig films, combining Spectre and No Time to Die. This one's called No One Lives Forever. So what did I think of this fan edit after watching it? Let's find out today on the video. So welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, my name is Matt and this channel is all about movies. We look at 4Ks, Blu-rays, DVDs and VHS. We look at the collection. We talk about physical media, collecting physical media, essentially films, TV series, etc. Occasionally I get a fan edit of a film, and this one combines both Spectre and No Time to Die into one film. This lasts about 3.5 hours, and it's an edit of the two films put together into one full movie, which largely centres around the character of James Bond and his love interest. The opening title has been changed. Both theme tunes from Spectre, The Writings on the Wall and No Time to Die, are both ejected from this cut, and we have the intro music opening theme to On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which was starring George Lazenby back in 1967, I think it was. Anyway, the graphics are done really well, very much like a Bond film. Quite impressed by those. I don't know who did those, but it looks very impressive. And we get a new title with this, No One Lives Forever. There is a subtitle, aka No Time for Spectre. Personally, I don't like that title. I do like No One Lives Forever. It's quite a clever title. I do believe that there may be a game of this same title, James Bond game. This name has been given to the fan edit. So after watching this film, I've had a few days to sort of think about it. There's quite a big chunk of the film Spectre that is cut out of this. So in the Spectre film, Franz Oberhauser, who is taking on the identity of Blofeld, he's taken his mother's bloodline, maiden name. In the original version of Spectre, Bond is adopted by Franz Oberhauser's father, and they're brought up as brothers. There's very much a reference to this throughout the film, where Blofeld calls James Bond cuckoo, and there's a lot of he doesn't like the fact that he was brought into the family, and I think his father actually liked bringing up Bond and probably favoured him over him, so there was a lot of jealousy there. All of that is ejected from this film, so that relationship is non-existent in No One Lives Forever. It largely focuses on the relationship between the two main characters, that being of James Bond and Madeline. Madeline is the daughter of Mr. White, who we first saw in Casino Royale, and he's kind of been there all the way through the films of the Daniel Craig era. Essentially, the Daniel Craig series of films was like a continued story arc, with Blofeld always being in the background. Each film had its own villain, who was part of the Spectre organisation, and behind it all was always Blofeld controlling everything that was happening. The very start of No Time to Die is actually put at the very beginning of this cut, so it makes more sense narratively with the character of Madeline, so you know where she's come from. Safen's sort of his agenda with her, and it makes more sense about his relationship with Spectre trying to get back at them for them murdering his family, and the whole thing of sort of taking over the world, Hercules being the sort of drug that's going to be passed on and wipe out most of civilization to create like a super race, I guess. So yeah, it does work in that sort of tragic love story. Do I prefer it over the two originals? No, I don't. I actually really like Spectre. Probably I prefer Spectre over No Time to Die. I really enjoyed the fact that there was the connection between Blofeld and Bond growing up as sort of brothers. I think it actually gave Blofeld a reason for his jealousy. He wanted to hurt Bond. Whereas if you take that out of the film, it kind of doesn't make a huge amount of sense as to what his motivation is against James Bond. The cuckoo references don't really sort of work, and it largely plays like sort of the older Bond films where Blofeld was just the sort of antagonist. Bond was trying to sort of stop him from world domination, this sort of a thing. I personally like Spectre because it gives more depth, more motivation to the character, the villain, as to why he's so doesn't like Bond, he wants to hurt him, this sort of a thing. There are certain points where the screen goes black. You get like some credits that will come up to tell you where you're at the film. There's one particular scene where it says 5 years later. So it keeps the narrative going. But like I say, there are times, especially I noticed, where sort of Madeline was kind of almost anti-Bond. She hadn't fallen in love with him, but then it wasn't too far sort of down the story where she already had fallen in love with him, and it just seemed a little bit rushed because of the cuts, obviously, that we saw to the film in this edit. Anyway, just some thoughts on my experience of watching this film. I do think it's a clever way of re-editing the story. It kind of, like I say, mirrors on Her Majesty's Secret Service film, and I guess it adds a little bit more weight to Bond's death. But overall, I wouldn't say it's my preferred way of watching the film. I still like the individual films themselves. Certainly for me, Spectre I prefer over No Time to Die. I will watch this again at some point. It's a nice compliment to the official films. So, have you seen this cut of Spectre and No Time to Die put together? I say it's called No One Lives Forever. I'm interested to hear your thoughts down below. What do you think of this? Or is this something you're interested in finding? I'm sure that you'll be able to find this online to watch as a free fan edit. I was fortunate enough to be able to get this popped onto a Blu-ray disc for me. These fan edits are done for the fans, not for sort of profit or gain or anything like that. It's just a preference. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, if you preferred this cut or do you still prefer the Spectre film or No Time to Die. What do you think of those films? Do you like No Time to Die? Did you like the way it ended? It was a brave ending. It's a very different way of doing things. Obviously it's killed off Daniel Craig version of Bond, but as with all Bond films, at the end it always says James Bond will return. So we're just waiting for the Amazon version of James Bond next time. Will it live up to the heights of Eon Productions? Time will tell. But we've got a good director, Denis Villeneuve, who's going to take this new direction. So we'll have to see what happens with that one. Thanks ever so much for watching the video. Please give us a thumbs up. Leave comments down below and check out this Bond playlist for other Bond content. Thanks for watching. See you next time.